This is a micro version of the LEGO Millennium Falcon. This is the LEGO playset Millennium Falcon, and this is the biggest LEGO Star Wars Millennium Falcon ever. So today I went and bought some of the biggest LEGO sets of all time to compare them to some of the smallest sets of all time, from the Disney Castle to the Star Destroyer and even Baby Yoda. But there's a catch. For each of these sets, I need to prove how big they are by the amount of minifigures I can fit inside of them. So hit that subscribe button or the Millennium Falcon will be dropped on your head. That'll hurt a lot. With that said, LEGO. Starting off, here's a micro scale version of the Millennium Falcon. It's really tiny and cannot even fit a single figure. Now next up we have the Millennium Falcon Micro Fighter. It's again very small, it has some missiles that you could fire off, and you could comfortably fit about one minifigure in it. And the next one up is a playset Millennium Falcon. Now this is 10 times bigger than the Micro Fighter and has a ton of standing room and a chair that spins. Now this one is 10 times bigger than the last one. It has a bunch of features, like an area to man the turrets, a little kitchen, and a bedroom, and it can fit about 32 minifigures, which is a lot. And finally, we have the big one, the UCS Millennium Falcon. This is a $800 set with over 75,000 pieces, and it has an even more detailed interior, which is actually accurate to the movies. And after trying to cram in as many figures as possible, we were able to comfortably fit about 20. That's actually not bad considering there are only 2 rooms. Some would even say it's magical. Speaking of magic, next up we have the Disney Castle. Here's a tiny Disney castle, and you can't do much with it. But luckily there is a mini scale version which can't fit any minifigures, but does have some interior detail. And it's also 100% rounded. It's the only actual castle that's out there that's not cut in half, like this guy. This is the big Disney Castle, and I have to fill it up with as many minifigures as I possibly can. We have figures in the ballroom, in the kitchen, in the Beauty and the Beast room, and in a bunch of other rooms. There are a total of about 50 minifigures in this thing, which is a lot. I don't know how good that is for a castle, but it seems pretty good to me. But will it fit as many as an AT-AT? These things were made for big loads, and boy, do I have loads of them. We got a mini one, a micro one, and a playset one, which can actually push a speeder out of its butt, and can only carry 9 troopers, which is extremely disappointing. But then we have the big one, the UCS AT-AT, otherwise known as the most expensive LEGO set ever at $850. My wallet just cried tears of sadness. This thing has over 40 seats alone and can have a metric ton of minifigures. And after about 20 minutes of filling it, I was able to fit about 55 troopers, which is really good for a LEGO set. And this is James Bond. He drives a very classy and very British Aston Martin. Comes with a little seat to put him in, and a second seat, so you'd fit 2 figures in here. No, Florida man, don't! And here's a big version of the same vehicle. I actually think this one looks a little worse. It has some cool features, like a little pop-up guns in the front, and a little cell phone in the car door. And it technically can't fit any minifigures, so it's disqualified. So this next one is Luke Skywalker holding his lightsaber. It's a small piece, and you could add a blade to each side. And this is a build of his lightsaber. It actually fits in my hand and is 100 times bigger than a single piece. And speaking of Luke's lightsaber, here's Luke's land speeder. We have a micro version of it, which can loosely fit a figure on it. A playset version, which could fit about 4 minifigures. It also has a little storage area to hide the bodies of Uncle and Aunt Beru. And the big $200 one. This one is not even figure scale, so it's not even worth trying to fit figures on it. Sad. And in a total turn of events, we have a figure scale playset of the Tumbler, aka the Batmobile. This is the thing Batman drives in The Dark Knight. This is a fun little playset, and it does come in black. It can also comfortably fit 2 people and has little stud shooters. Very nice. But there isn't even a bigger version of it that is insane looking and also not figure scale. Speaking of figure scale, this is a Harry Potter minifigure. It looks pretty normal. But here is a giant scale Harry Potter Lego minifigure built out of Legos. This looks so cursed. He's a fun little wizard, and I think he's on a ton of speed. He totally could stomp all over that little one. He literally almost fits in his foot. Maybe I could fit him in a Republic Gunship. Anyway, here's a micro version of a Republic Gunship, but it can't carry anyone. But a custom playset can. This one can carry an absurd amount of 25 minifigures. But since the UCS one isn't minifigure scale, I put action figures in it. Yeah, believe it or not, this thing is actually pretty darn close to action figure scale, and they all fit in there and can grab onto the bars. Like, what? Come on, LEGO, you could do better. Also, no, Harry Potter can barely fit in there. Anyhow, now we have some characters. For instance, we have a BB-8 minifigure, very cute and unsuspecting. And then here's a cursed brick-built version of him I got at Toys R Us like 7 years ago. They were giving these out for free. I didn't actually buy this. And then he got adorable again, and they made a big version of him. Look, he gives a little thumbs up. How cute is that? But then we have his big murderous buddy, R2-D2. Did you know R2-D2 is responsible for like 1 million deaths in Star Wars? We also have a minier version of R2-D2 that's brick built, and a minifigure. Anyway, he comes with a bunch of features like an antenna, a lightsaber that pops out, and a shocker. Are you shocked? Probably not. But you know what is shocking? Baby Yoda. We have a mini version of him in his little pram, and we have a slightly chunkier version. This one's called a Brickheads. And we also have a big brick-built version of Baby Yoda. This one comes with his little ball that he plays with, and his head moves all around. I don't know if this thing is the cutest thing I've ever seen or the most disturbed thing I've ever seen. Please help. But when you put all these guys together, they're actually really kind of adorable. I wonder if they all hate BB-8 because he's from the sequels. Now next up we have the Baby Yoda Transport, aka the Razor Crest. We have yet again another tiny one, very insignificant, as well as a microfighter one, which is pretty cute. You put a little Mando minifigure in it, I like that a lot. And then we have the playset one, which is fantastic. This one you could fit a ton of figures. I fit a bunch of Mandalorians in it, about 15, which is really good for a little set. Well, it's not that little, but it's little relative to the UCS Razor Crest. This one looks insane and is extremely top heavy. Like seriously, those engines are heavy. It has a full-blown interior, an escape pod on the outside, as well as even a giant closet full of blasters. And heck, even Boba Fett armor. And this thing can sleep about 15 people, which isn't as good because there are a lot of tiles in there and it's really hard to access the area. But once you put it all together, they all fit in nice and comfortably. It's really a shame the Razor Crest got exploded. But do you remember that ship that crashed into the Star Destroyer and sent it flying into the Death Star? Well, that was the A-Wing, and we have a bunch of those in LEGO. We have yet again another mini version, nothing too special, but we also again have a microfighter version with a minifigure. And yeah, this one's blue. Not too sure why. We have yet again another playset, which is kind of boring. It has some nice engine design, but here we have my personal favorite, the UCS one. This one looks wild. Its engines are gigantic, its proportions are fantastic, and I love this set. But this next one is wild. One of the biggest sets of all time, the Star Destroyer. Nope, that's not it. Oh, let's size it up some more. That one's cool and can fit a load of minifigures, but that's definitely not it. This boy, the UCS Star Destroyer. This thing is insane. This is also the first time my jaw has ever dropped while building a LEGO set. I was flabbergasted. Anyway, it comes with a little Tantive 4, a bunch of details including these small little turrets and a hangar bay on the bottom. And it has no interior. Yes, there is absolutely zero ways for you to access the interior of this thing without completely destroying it. And that really angers me. There should be some sort of little, like, command room. But you do get these two dinky officers, which is really kind of lame. Overall, I think this is one of the biggest in proportion LEGO sets of all time, and certainly the coolest, other than maybe the Millennium Falcon. And somehow we were able to size up all of those amazing sets from these little tiny things into these gigantic builds. LEGO has some of the most incredible sets, and it's really exciting to see. But watch this video if you like this one. I will see you all in the next one. Remember to peace out and stay awesome.